Welcome to Keeping It Real SRQ with your host, Veronica and Jeremy Miller, and Tomi and Justin Knepp. Keeping It Real SRQ is the show that shares what's happening in our local real estate market.
Okay, so let's talk about investors. So there's a lot of investors coming into Florida, coming into Sarasota that are looking to buy up a lot of these properties, and there's a lot of homeowners that don't want to sell to them. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I can tell you right off the bat. So I sold to an investor only because they had full cash, and the homeowner wanted the cash right away. So it worked out perfectly. Am I nervous? Because there's a lot of these investors coming in, and they're going to control the rent.
Yes.
So I'm kind of nervous about that, but definitely I can see someone saying, absolutely not. You know, this is my home, this is my neighborhood, I want to leave it intact, I guess.
Right, to another homeowner, so, you know, it's not a rental in our neighborhood. And
right.
I definitely see some of the fear when, you know, there are sellers and they have, you know, investors coming in. There's pros and cons to it. You know, it's building a business for an investor, but then, you know, for the homeowner, you know, they want to keep the neighborhood the way that it is. They don't want it to change.
Right, right.
You know, and so primarily it comes up to them, you know, so.
Well, and with the lack of affordable housing as well, right now, I mean, the price is getting jacked up because of all these investors. It's already a problem, and it's only going to get worse, I think.
Absolutely. I did notice that there was, just in Sarasota County, the single-family homes was around 50% of them was purchased with cash.
From investors.
Yes.
Yep. So it's, you know, they're coming in with the hedge funds, so many big-time. It's not the small-time investor, flipper, rental type of people anymore. So it's just becoming, I see it being a real problem in the future. They're buying up all the 2-2, 3-2 smaller homes that your first-time home buyer would potentially, you know, go after. So, you know, I think that is creating a big problem locally.
I totally agree. So what it comes down to is we encourage all the renters, think about becoming a homeowner, because there's wonderful programs, and let's face it, you know, let's help those first-time home buyers have a home.
Yes.
So, you know, like, we could go both ways with the investors, but it comes down to the homeowners. So I hope you make the right choice, and if you ever need a realtor, I think we know some.
Yes, we're always here to help.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Miller, and I'm excited today to have Elizabeth Smith from CrossCountry Mortgage back with us today to talk a little bit about the relationship between lenders and realtors. Elizabeth?
Thanks for having me, Jeremy.
So, Elizabeth, how long have you been doing this business, mortgage?
So I've been in the mortgage business since the late 90s. I did get started up in Boston, which is where I'm from, and I did take a couple of years off to go to graduate school at the University of Florida. But I have been a licensed loan officer since 2004, and so which means I've seen the shift. I've been here doing loans or in real estate since the market that we did experience in the early 2000s and 2008 and 9. And then I did watch the market flourish and to the days before COVID. And then I've also been here. I feel like I survived COVID as a loan officer because it was a busy 2 years that we had with COVID and the impact it had on interest rates and the real estate market and the influx of families moving to Florida as employers really loosened up their flexibility of where families could work from. You know, no longer did anybody have to be in the office anymore. You know, they say the world, I think it was Robert Friedman who wrote the book, The World is Flat. And COVID really enhanced that, or, you know, I don't know exactly what I'm trying to say, but the world is truly flat because we went completely virtual for 2 years during COVID. So, so the market now, as far as lending goes, and how it's different. I was thinking about how it's different compared to the market that we were in the early 2000s. We do have significant appreciation today. However, underwriting guidelines are very restrictive, and nobody gets financed without giving me a complete stack of paper. However, instead of paper, we do have a lot of tools that allow for automated income verification, automated assets. Underwriting is still a thorough analysis of all of those income and asset and real estate owned documents and credit reports. So we still have an underwriter involved. However, the improvement that technology has brought to making the mortgage process much more efficient and user friendly, it really has put the buyer and the consumer in the driver's seat as far as lending goes. So when I think about relationships between lenders and real estate agents, specifically related to COVID, and how the impact that COVID has had on the real estate environment here in Florida, with families moving here, by the dozens daily, as employers permitted families to, individuals and employees to work from home. That relationship between real estate agents and their lending partners is so important, because all of these agents need to know that they have confidence in the pre-approval letters that are being delivered and are accompanying the offers that are being submitted on homes. You cannot, with so many families moving here from out of state, it just wouldn't work if there were banks and lenders from out of state that were unfamiliar names to local real estate agents and sellers. I mean, sellers and agents really look at that address and the name on that pre-approval letter, and that's worth almost more than the content in the pre-approval letter.
Thanks again, Elizabeth, and we appreciate having you on the show.
Thanks for having me, Jeremy.
Hi, it's Veronica Brandon Miller, and I am very excited to have the General Manager of Aqua Plumbing and Air, Ken Jackson, with us today. And as seen on AquaCare's Home Safety TV Show on Sundays, I discovered Ken, and he has some amazing products that every homeowner should know about. So the first one I would love to talk about is the Fin Plus.
Okay, so the Fin Plus is a automatic water shutoff device that is used to prevent water damage in buildings primarily. There's a lot of problems in buildings where we have broken washing machine hoses, water heaters, air conditioners, appliances that fail when nobody's watching. And oftentimes at night when the pressures are higher in the mains, we tend to get leaks. So because of all those damages that occur every day in homes and businesses, manufacturers are coming up with products to protect ourselves from those type of things. So the Fin Plus is basically a device that is very much like the Alexa in your home. It learns your habits, the difference between a toilet flushing, a filling, and a water heater noise or a shower noise, and it learns all those things. It pressure tests every hour and basically warns you if you're going to have a water loss. If we do have a water loss, it shuts it off automatically to save the damage. And also you can turn it on and off from your phone, and it can give you updates when things are going on. So it's a product that can be installed on the water main, inside or outside in southern climates, and it can basically save money on your homeowner's policy. Oh, nice. And it's there's a lot of products like that, but it's a really good product to be added to your house.
And especially here in Florida, because we have a lot of snowbirds. So this is when sight unseen, you don't know what's happening. Exactly.
Like a lot of people have to put home watch people in their homes because they're not here or they're only here for 6 months. But this is something that's on guard all the time, 24/7, and it really protects you from those type of things. Let's just say that somebody forgets to shut the hose off when they're filling the pool. It's going to let you know that. Or somebody you planted a new tree or bush in your yard and somebody forgot to turn that off. It's going to let you know you have an event going on.
Oh, so. You called me out because I remember Jeremy. It's like, watch the water going into the pool, yeah, and ADD, it's like, la, 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 la. And literally I look back and I'm like, wow, I can see the reflection really well. Well, yeah, because it was crisp, right?
Sure.
But there was nothing to let it go down, so I don't know.
So with a hose, we call it a hose bib connection, that can produce 15 gallons a minute. So you can imagine how much water can be lost in a short period of time.
And it doesn't matter if it's a freestanding home or a condo or anything.
No, in matter of fact, places that are above the ground, 1, 2, 3, 10 stories high, there's a lot more potential for damage, so that would increase the reason that you'd want to have the protection in the first place.
Oh, well, that is brilliant. And people can find this out. It's on your website also, right? So.
Yes, and this, like I said, the Fin Plus is a really smart product, but there's other products similar to that do the same thing. It's just getting the right one for the right application. Mm-hmm. But it definitely could save a lot of trouble and waking up to a nightmare in the morning,
And I hope this was helpful information. I know it is for me. Anytime there's new products out there that can help the homeowners, that's what we're here for. So thank you so much.
You're
this
welcome.
was very educational.
Hi everyone, have you ever wondered about inspections? Well, today we are in luck. We have Brian with Paragon Inspections today to go over some terminology and some questions that you might have with inspections. So Brian, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, owner and operator of Paragon Inspections, located out of Pinellas County, but we do service all the surrounding counties as well. Been inspecting for 5 years now, running Paragon Inspections for a little bit over a year. Got a nice little family out there in Pinellas. Lots of baseball, lots of gymnastics, and lots of beach time. That's basically us in a nutshell. So
perfect. So can you tell us a little bit, what is the importance of getting an inspection professionally done?
So anyone can get an inspection done, whether it's done by your dad or done by a professional licensed home inspector. But obviously the licensed inspector is the way to go, because there's a lot of schooling that goes into it, a lot of knowledge about certain areas that may not be privy to the amateur inspector. A licensed home inspector is going to cover everything, all your major components, from roofing, from electric to plumbing. There's also ancillary services that you can get that most amateur inspectors don't have the ability to get into, like sewer scoping or air sampling for mold. There's a lot of situations you could actually find yourself in.
Do you guys do that? Do you guys?
Yes, sir. Yeah, of course. Wow. Yeah. So, throwing a camera down a sewer line is something that most amateur, like mom, dad, home inspectors don't have the ability to do.
They don't. I've ran into that.
Yes, especially with flipping, which I'm familiar with. Yeah, absolutely. A lot of times when people buy those homes for flips, they don't realize what's underneath the house. So that's a major thing to kind of be able to get into.
Yep, I've noticed in some of the areas in Sarasota, a lot of the cast iron piping has been kind of crumbling, and that's super important. That's thousands and thousands of dollars.
Correct. Yeah.
That somebody like yourself could go in and potentially save you, especially on flips. So if you are getting into the flipping game, then it would be a good idea getting started. Have him go through and kind of tell you what to expect and what you might be needing. So you were saying that there's some extras you can get. I know a lot of people have been asking me about 4-point inspections.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell them the importance and how that is important to have it?
So there's basically a combo inspection. It's the 4-point inspection and the wind mitigation inspection. They're both insurance inspections. Okay. And what happens there is that these reports on official letterhead, typically a citizen's form, because they're accepted by basically every insurance company. Yeah. They tell the insurance company how your home is holding up. So a 4-point's going to cover your roof, tell you how much life you have left on it, how much life is on it. It's going to cover your AC, tell you if it's working properly. Your water heater and your plumbing, let you know what kind of material the plumbing's made out of, whether or not it's leaking. And then the electrical panel, it goes over the amperage and if there are any deficiencies, like we were talking earlier about amateur stuff. So if there's any kind of amateur work done to the panel, like double tapping or knocked out, like missing breakers or open knockouts, things like that, those are things that insurance companies typically want remediated before they fully insure you. So that's what a 4-point covers. A wind mitigation basically tells the insurance company how your home would hold up against a hurricane. Okay. So it's going to tell them about the way the roof is tied down to the walls, whether you have clips or toenails or single wraps or double wraps. It's going to tell you how the decking is connected with the size of the nails and the spacing of the nails. It's going to go over your window protections, if you have any window protection.
Absolutely.
Or if you have impact rated coverings like the metal panels that we all see. They make Kevlar covers now that just kind of like a rolled up canvas, or if your windows themselves in sliding glass doors are impact rated just by manufacturer.
Absolutely. Well, that's good to know. So I know that they also, you know, it has to be the way the door swings out or in. I know that has stuff to do with the wind mitigation, or is that
not necessarily? No, the only doors that they really cover that they're concerned about are garage doors. Okay. Whether or not those are impact rated, and any door with a glazed opening, like a window on it. The kicker about the wind mitigation and the glazed openings, which, you know, windows and doors are, you can have 1,000 windows in your house. Yes. And all of them are impact rated except for that one little porthole in your front door. They're not going to give you an ounce of credit. So you have to make sure that every single glazed opening is completely impact rated, or else insurance companies really don't care. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. So I guess if you would have all of that, that would give them a insurance credit, like a discount.
Yes.
I'm sure.
Yeah. I believe there is an amount that you can max out on. Okay. But I think, from my understanding anyway, that the window coverings and the impact rating around the house is the biggest credit you can get.
Okay. So what makes you guys stand out compared to a lot of the other inspectors? And we'll put Brian's name and information how to contact him and his company, but if you want to go over some of the reasons why they should, you know, use you, of course, that would be fantastic.
Yeah. So like I said earlier, basically any inspector can do the job. But what I pride myself on is, before I got into inspections, I was in a construction background, and I come from the school of thought that basically anything can be fixed. Okay, it's just a matter of how much work you want to put into it. There are a lot of inspectors out there that I've worked with in the past that love to terrify the buyer, that love to terrify the buyer's agent. Let them know, hey, you've got a leak under your sink. That could mean you have mold here and mold there. That could mean that this whole house needs. That's not the case. Okay, so I'd like to typically go through the inspection with a form of bedside manner that I would talk to my kids like, you know, or I would talk to my wife through. And we all know that, you know, our significant others and children are typically alarmists, you know, so you always have to walk them through things kind of softly so they understand that things can be figured out and handled properly. That's one thing that I pride myself on. Also, when you're choosing your inspector, I think it's a great idea to look and see what kind of warranties and guarantees they offer. Some inspectors carry none, some inspectors carry a lot. I like to think that I'm right in the middle with warranties and guarantees. We are backed by Recall Check, which cover your appliances and plumbing, your roof for the first 5 years. We cover your home if you have any mold that was undetected. And then the best one that we offer, we're backed by a company called Internachi, which is called the Buyback, which is pretty crazy if you ask me. But basically what it says is, when you move into the home, if you find something that I was not able to find and you have to back out of the house because of it, the company that backs me will buy the property back from you within the first 30 days. That's fantastic. It's a safety net. It's awesome. So buying a home is always going to be kind of a huge milestone, and it's one of the most expensive purchases, so it's nice to have something like that to back you up.
Perfect. Well, Brian, thank you very much for joining us today. And again, we'll get your information out there. So please, if you need an inspector, Brian's your man.
Appreciate it.
Hi, and welcome back. We are joined today with a very special guest. Her name is Courtney Petrin. Courtney is a home designer here in Sarasota. She is the owner and founder of Savannah's Homes and Design LLC. And she was also just featured in Sarasota SRQ magazine for the top interior designer. Courtney, thank you so much for meeting with us today. Such a pleasure to have you. Thank you. I know we wanted to talk a little bit about today, you know, about your designs and, you know, how you kind of get things started. So we know Sarasota's old, a lot of older homes. So when a customer contacts you, what are your first steps into introducing them to the process and kind of like the expectations of it?
Of course, that's a great question. I always start with a discovery call with my clients. So it's usually like a 20-minute call on the phone where I talk through their project with them, what they're looking for, a little bit maybe about their budget.
Yes.
Might talk about their design style a little bit. And then from there, kind of making sure it's a good fit from the start, I'll go out and I'll do a consultation with them. So I'll come out to their home and meet with them and kind of get to know them a little bit. And I also want to kind of assess, their expectations at the beginning and kind of help them navigate that and really be a support system for them as well. And I'm still just making sure that we're going to be a good fit all around. I want to make sure that we can capture their style, what they're looking for within their budget, the timeline, all those things. And then from there, really it's formulating their design tone is extremely important in building that relationship with them. And then from there, it's kind of just, tackling the scope of work and kind of digging in.
Absolutely. That's wonderful. So I know HGTV, has a lot of drawbacks, that are very dramatic. I know that there are concerns that can come up during, a remodel. How do you address those concerns? How do you, put the customer at ease during that kind of process?
Absolutely. I think that, trust starts at the beginning, first of all. Of course, being transparent with them, communication is key. I also think that preparing for those setbacks, and in our experience, we sometimes know what could go wrong. We try to prepare them best we can for that. But sometimes there's unforeseen things that happen. And I think that the biggest thing, it really just comes down to communication and being there to support them and help them through that decision and not make them feel like they're on their own with that. So I think it's just support, communication, planning, organization, and minimizing as many drawbacks or setbacks as possible.
Yes.
But anticipating that they might happen and just having a really good attitude about it.
Absolutely. Now, I know that when we think of remodel, interior designer, hiring somebody, we think mega bucks, it's so expensive. What do you say to somebody that thinks that way?
No, it's completely understandable. I think that what we try to do, or what we strive to do, is kind of be accessible, be approachable, and just also really give you great design. So we really are trying to merge that gap with, you do not have to spend, $1 million to have a really beautiful customized design for you. It's just really about, being creative in your choices. Of course, being realistic. But I think that we are really trying to be approachable and work with the working class. We have high-end clients, but we want to work with working class people like us, and really kind of provide them a really great quality service and high-end design.
Absolutely, and I agree. I don't think a lot of people take into consideration that it can be affordable. And I love that about your work. Now, so during remodeling, we know that there's a lot of intricate parts that go into it. How do you guys, stay on task when there's so many moving parts, and making sure that you're getting right to that deadline?
Absolutely. So I think it's just a matter of having a team approach. So delegating certain jobs, delegating, certain roles and tasks. You can't do it by yourself.
No.
Typically on larger projects, my husband and I will project manage and kind of oversee the project, but we have our specialties that handle, some of the remodeling. So I think that, again, communication, organization, having a team approach, I think it's really important too that we have people we can rely on.
Yes.
So we have subcontractors and specialties that will answer the phone when we call, who are there and reliable. And so I think that's really the biggest thing is we also try to flourish that relationship with them too.
Right.
Because that really does translate to the client's experience too.
Perfect. So anybody who's interested, please definitely reach out to Courtney. She is the expert and she will definitely help you with your home design. Now, just going to quickly jump over to us being in one of your beautiful remodels. This place is stunning, and Courtney, if you could just take us around and kind of give us a peek about the home.
Of course, absolutely.
Thank you.
Of all the improvements you can make to your home, it could be the most important one is not seen or heard, only felt. Discover premium comfort with the ultra-quiet, energy-efficient Carrier Infinity Home Comfort System. It's an essential part of any healthy home, with smart technologies and a whole home air purifier that give you confidence you're breathing healthier air. And there's just no improving on that.